Now, Mr. Hodder, Kane, obviously,
Kane is fine.
Kane, it's a pleasure to have you back to FrightFest. It's wonderful that you've been able to return after so many years. I've got to start off by asking.
7 years, I found out.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was that
I know,
long.
far too long. You clearly need to come back a lot more than what you realise.
I would like to.
But I've got to start off by asking. You know, we're now looking at the 10-year anniversary of Hatchet. I mean, how does that feel in the first instance to know you've got
fucking old? That's how it feels. 10-year anniversary. I know, it's amazing. But we did 4 films, so that's pretty cool. Almost like how we used to do the Friday movies every couple of years, 2 or 3 years. But this is a character I love playing, and the storylines and the way Adam writes the scripts, I think are so entertaining, because there's not often you have so many comedic moments in a scary horror film, but he is able to do it somehow. So.
Now, as you've just touched upon, obviously the way our Adam writes is obviously one of the things that obviously attracted you to the script of Hatchet. But was it also did it have to do with the fact that you was looking at the idea of portraying 2 characters, obviously, and getting your a lot more face time than what we've seen you in the past doing?
Well, I mean, that was a plus to doing it. I still would have played Victor had it not been playing also his father, but it was nice that he gave me a couple scenes to do as Victor's father, just to show another side of my characters, but I'll always love doing the violent stuff.
Obviously the fact that we're now looking at the full film for Victor Crowley, is there anything particular you wanted to do in terms of development for the character itself to move forward and for the future?
No, I just liked how he, since Adam was back directing again, he didn't direct the 3rd one, but he was back for this one, and it was nice to have his input as to what the character should do, even spur of the moment stuff. Because I'd be set up doing a scene, and he said, "Why don't you try doing this?" And I would think, "Yeah, mate, that might work," and I'd do it, and sure enough, it was a great thing to do. It's kind of vague description that I just gave, but there's a scene where I'm looking at people, and I'm kind of pacing back and forth, and it looks scary as hell, I think. And that was something Adam came up with on the fly.
And sometimes that is generally all you need to scare the crap out of someone. And obviously, from my very last question, the fact that you've been able to return to FrightFest, I mean, what does that mean for you, the fact that the event has always supported the Hatchet films for all the years they've been doing it?
They've always been very supportive of Hatchet. Last time I was here was for Hatchet 2. So I just love the event anyway, even just as a horror fan, which I am. I would love to attend this thing just because of the way it's run and the things they do and where it is and stuff. And so it's just, when they said they were going to feature my documentary and the new Hatchet movie, I was like, wow, I mean, that's perfect for me.
That's almost like
quite an honor,
It's almost like a buy one, get one free job.
I think so.
I got to start off by saying it's wonderful to have you back to FrightFest. Obviously, I know this is for the 10-year anniversary, but I know you was here 3 years ago, which was a delight then. But I mean, 10 years on, I mean, how does that feel? Did you ever imagine it was going to get to this stage?
Well, I mean, it's funny. People keep saying, like, "Can you believe it's 10 years old?" And it's like, well, I didn't have to really do anything for that to happen. It's just time. All I had to do was, I guess, not die or not have every print of the film burn up. But the fact that it has this staying power, because you look at 2006, 2007, when the movie first came out, and a lot of the movies that were topping the box office then, or these remakes or torture porn or found footage things that were doing so well, they're already forgotten. Like, when you go to a horror convention, nobody's walking around wearing those shirts. They don't have the shit tattooed on them. But this has lasted, and that's the crazy thing with the horror genre. Like, you can't decide when something comes out if it's a classic or if it's an icon or if it's... I was really scared when the review that went on the poster was like the next icon of horror. I was like, whoa. But there's Halloween masks now. There's comic books, a 4th film. I mean, I don't know. I think it worked.
And obviously, over the time that you've been making them, I mean, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful in the fact that obviously you've managed to get Kane back every single time, and there's obviously a beautiful relationship and a friendship there, which you both have mutual respect for. I mean, could you ever imagine anyone else doing the job that Kane has done for Hatchet?
No, absolutely not. I would never. As long as Hatchet is being made under my watch, nobody else will play Victor Crowley, unless it's because Kane is like, okay, I want to step down now. I still won't accept that answer, and I'll still try to get him to do it. But I mean, he's like 98, 99 years old at this point, so I mean, he could just drop at any moment now. So no, I mean, in all seriousness, one of my problems with the other franchises, aside from Nightmare on Elm Street, was that it's always these different people playing the character, and like, why don't they care about the fans? Freddy versus Jason, you can't get a straight answer out of anybody about that, why they didn't go with Kane. And the real reason is they just didn't even think about it. They didn't care. It was like, all right, fuck it, go with this guy. And if it didn't matter, then give us what we fucking wanted. But, I mean, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because if he had done that, that kind of would have been it. And instead, out of the ashes of that, he now is a new character that he's built from the ground up. He's 4 movies in, which is as many times as he ever played Jason. I mean, in all likelihood, there's going to be more. And, I mean, what a success story. Which, I don't know if you got to see his documentary, but that's the great thing about it is, like, I mean, he was burned alive. I mean, he was done. And he fought back, and he takes chances, and he doesn't give up. And I'm the same way, and I think that's why we're kindred spirits. I mean, when the script for Hatchet went out, it was dead in the water. No one wanted to make a slasher movie in the mid-2000s. But I didn't give up, and then I made it, and then still nobody wanted it. And I toured the world for 18 months, every convention, every festival that would play it, winning awards, and still nobody wanted it. I mean, it's been like forcing this thing forward. But then the fans at a certain point, really here in 2006, that screening was the one where it just took off. And the fans have carried it this far. And I mean, just waiting outside and seeing the tattoos on people and all the Hatchet t-shirts. And to think that I was 8 years old when I came up with this thing and I loved it so much. And that love somehow was absorbed by other people and embraced by them. It's very surreal, and it's going to be a very emotional night, especially explaining why this movie happened with George Romero passing away and Wes passing away, and you know, I'm not saying anything I've ever done can even compare to what they've done, but this is my contribution to the genre, and it's because of them, and they were so supportive of me and so encouraging, and I never would have even picked up a camera if it wasn't for those guys. So the fact that it's still alive, it's still going, this character is still going, I hope that they see that, and I'm sure they're proud. Even if they fucking hate the movie, I'm sure they're proud that it's still going.